Hey, what's up guys, my name is Azoh, and welcome to talking about lethality changes again. So as you may be aware, I have been talking about lethality being slightly lackluster in some of my recent videos, over and over again about what item builds were doing. Riot did catch on to that, and they decided to presumably nerf Duskblade a little bit, and Cleaver again. Let's talk about it. First of all, thank you Youmuu for the picture. I straight up just stole this from his Twitter, so, you know, because I couldn't be arsed actually looking up myself. They did say they wanted to change Duskblade to be a out-of-combat movement speed and less AD, cementing this as the strategic mobility choice. Now, depending on how much AD we're talking, because obviously I don't have the numbers, I might be talking out of my ass, I probably am. Inherently, this is a nerf. I know that they really want items to have identities, I have no problem with that. I think this is the wrong way to do it though. Because especially looking at Duskblade right now, I don't know why you'd build Duskblade, because say they massively bump up the movement speed and massively lower the AD, because of course we don't have any numbers here, so we don't know. It's not really worth it. I know they really want to hit you with this movement speed bonus kind of thing, and have this identity of roaming. But if it doesn't give you enough AD to actually do something when you get to where you're roaming, I don't know. Or if it makes you too weak in lane to actually get going into roaming, if you can't actually shove out the wave and start roaming, if you can't actually duel, or if you can't trade because the values are so low, then it's not really worth it, because lethality is of course worse than armor penetration, objectively. And if you have less and less and less lethality overall, and the game stays the same, of course it doesn't, then it's going to be progressively harder to even get to the same point. Of course, it's different now, especially with armor being, well, you get way more armor, less HP. You kind of need some items to just get to the same point you were before, which is why I understand why they nerfed Black Cleaver one of the like 6 times they've nerfed it. Is because if the effective HP was the same, like if your true HP, and when I say true HP I mean the HP you have after you calculate for armor, is the same with the armor HP changes, then yeah, Cleaver would be way too good. So I understand that nerf, but now they keep nerfing it over and over and over again, and at this point Cleaver is an item we need to build. It's not a situational item anymore. You need to build Cleaver to deal with these Goliath tanks with 200 plus armor. And that's not even... We used to say like 200 plus armor is like an exaggeration. That's not an exaggeration anymore, not even close. 200 plus armor is pretty standard for tanks right now. And your 40, 50, 60, 70 lethality doesn't give you any benefit. Not against that. So why don't we just build Last Whisper instead? Well, the problem with Last Whisper compared to Cleaver is that Last Whisper is just AD. It's just AD. Not that much AD, and it's just AD. Now, it's a little bit more than Cleaver, so you say, but Cleaver is just AD and progressive arm penetration. Well, the difference is Cleaver is, first of all, 20% cooldown reduction, which is crucial. It really cements your build and rounds out every part of it. Cleaver is such a good item. It gives you HP to be allowed to stay in combat longer, to deal more damage, to effectively give you more damage through that. It has movement speed, which is also, I keep saying crucial, but it's crucial to stay onto targets, especially as Bork is not built as much anymore on Zed, even though it's way better than I thought it was going to be. And I mean, it's still good after the changes. The armor shred is better than armor penetration, because armor shred means that your other AD targets or other AD allies can deal extra damage to the champion, which is really, really nice, especially since you get so much value from each shred, because everyone has so much armor nowadays. So yeah, Black Cleaver is still basically essential. Technically you could build Last Whisper, and many definitely do, but you can't build it very early. You have to get at least 2-3 items before you do that, like a Youmuu and a Bork. And if you're skipping Cleaver, I've seen people do Triforce as well. It sounds pretty interesting. I do want to try that out. I haven't tried it out much yet. Could definitely be cool. But if that's the case, then yeah, Last Whisper can work, but then you'd have to do the Triforce, Youmuu's Bork. I don't know what Stylish does, but something like that. Triforce and something else. And then Last Whisper. I feel like it's just too slow against the tanks. But that's just me. But upside, Duskblade looks fucking crazy right now. And pardon my French. It looks really, really good. No longer has out of combat movement speed. Big loss. Proc damage. A flat number. So a more viable first item. Has cooldown reduction. And a very brief slow on application of the Night Stalker proc. Plus a cost reduction. This is really good. Really good. So let's go through that again. The proc damage is a flat number. So it's more viable as a first item, is what they say. Which means you really want to buy this as a first item. First of all, either if it's a flat number that doesn't change, then it's either... And they want it to be viable early game. So I'm assuming that either the damage scales per level, but they do say flat, so I'm not sure. If it's just a flat like a Bork, like 100 or 200 or 150, then yeah, that's going to be really good as an early game item. And probably way worse as a late game item. But late game, you can switch it out. Not that big of a deal. If it has cooldown reduction, that means you really don't need Youmuu's anymore. Because everything Youmuu's gives you, except the movement speed burst, which is going to be really painful to skip. Because I've played with Youmuu's for 4 years now. It's pretty difficult to not have the movement speed burst. Because that does help a lot. It's kind of a shame not to have it. But if it doesn't scale with lethality, you can just build it first item, get the cooldown reduction you want, and get a very big spike. Because it's flat, true damage with the slow, and it costs less. That looks really sick. So, yeah. I think without having any stats in front of me, without having any numbers, I think Duskblade is going to be crazy good as a starting item on Zed, and probably on many other assassins as well. But we'll have to see when the numbers come out. So Dark Poacher Strike, removing the out of combat movement speed and instead getting a passive where after killing a large minion, monster, or champion, your next damage spell against the champion deals 50 bonus damage. It goes with adding a bit of optimization to use it to its use and removing the need to put out of combat movement speed on everything it builds into. Yeah, okay, sure. We've seen this before. It was basically the old Dirk with bonus damage after killing a minion, but here it's a large minion, monster, or champion, so I guess it'll be a little bit more infrequent, but 50 damage is pretty big, so, and it's damaging spells, so you can do it with the Qs on Zed and such, so yeah, it's good. And I understand the way they want to be consistent with builds, so I have no real problems with that they remove the outer combat moon speed. Also, can we just talk about the fact that Rare clearly just forgot that Edge Unite actually exists? Because they removed, they want to be consistent with the movement speed, out of combat movement speed, so they removed it on Duskblade and Dirk, but they haven't said they've removed it on Edge Unite, because it's so bad that they even forgot that it exists. Be honest, when was the last time you actually saw someone buy Edge Unite? Maybe I'm undervaluing out of combat movement speed, but I never really felt that was a huge part of it. But I guess, I don't know. I just... they went to nerf Cleaver again. This is not a huge nerf, but it is, you can only add stacks with there's a 0.5 second cooldown to add stacks, which means it's going to be way more difficult for Zed to stack up, because a WQ combo will only grant you maybe 2, though probably just 1. So even a double Q and an E might just give you 1, depending on how fast you do it and the distance and all that. We'll have to see though. And they do say that they're testing an internal cooldown, so nothing is set in stone. All of this might be thrown out tomorrow, no clue. Just thought I should update you guys on exactly what's going on, because, well, it's kind of what I do. I also should absolutely shower before I make a video, because this is nuts. Do you guys see this? This is just nuts. That's what I get for, like, not showering the first thing in the morning. Anyway, I hope you guys had fun with this little review, and I hope that we will consider itemization options. I have not yet cemented a build that I'm certain on because changes like these and because I seriously have no clue anymore. I am so obsessed with arm penetration and lethality that it's so hard for me to switch to anything else. But I am trying it out. As you've seen in my other videos, I have tried out different builds and different keystones and everything, but we will see as the game progresses. But remember, these are no actual numbers, and I might be wrong completely. Ghostblade might get a like 380 nerf, more likely 580 nerf, and get like 100 extra movement speed, and it will become the greatest item in the game. Unlikely, but again, no numbers, and they might change this completely, so don't take it 100% for granted before we know. Just thought I'd update you guys in general, and I'd much rather give an opinion and give a prediction before something happens and be wrong than just be kept in hindsight and say afterwards what was clearly the right thing to think before. So yeah. And as always, guys, please remember, don't hate on writers. First of all, not all writers are in the game balance, and second of all, they are doing their best to try to make a proper game, and they think about a lot more than just lethality, assassins, and Zed. So be nice and be constructive. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you all next time. Have a great day. Bye.